Hello, everybody. How we doing today?
Afternoon, guys.
Almost coughed there for a second. Joe here.
Kevin?
Uh, okay, so last week's episode, we got another episode that really kind of highlights Josh's humanity.
Yeah, it's nice to get reminded every once in a
Yeah.
while. One of the things that I think people like about this show and why people are nostalgic for the show, I think the big thing isn't just their policies, that they're trying for, I think are good ones. Things like being able to afford college and healthcare,
Yeah, absolutely.
because they obviously fall short a lot when it comes to that in a realistic way. Like, hey, we tried to do this, it didn't work.
Yeah.
But the simple fact that you see people in these really important roles, like Josh, right, being the deputy chief of staff at the White House,
Sure.
actually feeling crushed and guilt for not being able to protect the jobs of all of these people.
Yeah.
All these nameless people, their jobs are going to be exported, and he actually tried to continue fighting for them, and really felt that he came up short. And I think that the cynicism of where we are now,
Yeah.
I don't think we always feel like the people in power care about that.
You really don't.
It's like, I mean,
and maybe that's unfair, but at the same time,
I don't
it's
think
like,
so.
in a realistic sense, they don't care.
Yeah.
You know?
I think, and just to pick one of 12 million examples I could, because it just popped into my head. I think after you have something like Sandy Hook happen, and it's like, what are we gonna do about it? Oh, well, I take a lot of money from the NRA, so nothing. Great.
Yeah.
We'll talk again after the next one in 3 days. And I know there's a lot of people who are like,
Sure.
I know where everyone stands on guns. That's just an example
It's
of
an example.
of there are plenty of people who have the ability to make any type of change, but will not
Yeah.
because they can't win
you're right.
re-election against the gun lobby.
You're
You
right.
know what I mean? It's just an example. I'm not saying let's get rid of all the guns or whatever. So that's not where I'm going with that. Just an example of there are people in power who care more about retaining their power than they care about actually getting a good thing ddone.
It's power and money,
Right.
And that's the sad truth. But at the same time, in this show, we get to live in it's escapism. You know what I mean?
It is, yeah. It's like this is the way it should work. The
way it
people
should
in
work.
power, like we saw with Josh, are actually trying to do things because it's the right thing to do to
Yeah.
make people's lives better.
That's it, and
That's what the job
That's
exists
why I
for.
love the show.
Right. Yeah, me
It
too.
brings you up, but at the same time, it kind of bums you out when you have to face the reality. Of
It
things.
does, but I also think it's like these are like the ideals we should aspire to.
Yes.
Why are we all settling for much less than that out
Yeah.
of the people that are in power that we vote for? Right.
Yeah.
The two senators from the state we live in are terrible people who both of them have said, I will do nothing to, like, we had an opportunity in the state to have a Medicare for all passed and paid for by the federal government, to like to get more people on on Medicare. And they said, absolutely not. We're not taking that darn Obama money. And it's just like, there are people dying who can't afford their medications. And I need to run on being anti-Obama. It's just so frustrating when there are people who actually need help.
It's one big game.
I know I'm off topic. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I don't think you are. I
Right.
think it does relate to this, and I think that it is one big game.
Right.
And as you see,
It's right. It's more about the power than getting it done.
What it reminds me of is Game of Thrones. I'm watching Game of Thrones.
Right,
They
sure.
referring to that as a game, and it's like, dang,
It's not a game. There's people's lives.
exactly. And to them, it's just cruel.
I know, but most of our congressmen in America are millionaires, and when you're worried about protecting that and protecting your job of getting reelected more than you care about actually doing a job that's going to benefit people, I think you should be run out of town. Completely run out of town.
Preach to the choir, man.
Anyway, we should go ahead and get started before I just start, really proselytizing.
That's what this is today.
Right. Let's get that off my chest. It was a weird weekend in politics. I watched a guy say that Puerto Ricans are all trash. It's it's just it was a rough
crazy time.
It was a rough weekend in politics. Anyway, we do want to get started here. I want to thank all of our Patreon subscribers for being here with us. And I'd like to give a special shout out to Actuarial Lurker, Balaj Foldes, Chris, Derek Peterson, Jeff, Christy Goverston, NJ, Richard Wilkinson, Surya Gundavarapu, Torgir Linkstad, Weird Magic, and Where Panda 47. Thanks so much, guys. We're really glad you're here with us.
Yes, we are. And if you're watching this on YouTube for the first time, welcome to our channel. If you might hit the like button for us, please leave us a comment down below and hit that subscribe button so you stay up to date on the new content we've coming your way.
If you would like to see a full-length reaction to this and everything else that we've watched or currently watching, check out a link in the description below to our Patreon page. On every show, including The West Wing, we're at least 4 episodes out on Patreon, and we're on YouTube. So if you get done watching the YouTube edits, would like to continue, you can do it there. You will have to sync and watch along on your own source material. You will only see us for copyright purposes.
They're still crying.
Honestly, sir, in my case, it's the pollen count, but for an Anglo-Saxon, you were darn funny.
I always hate the episodes that start off happy. Like
Something's gonna happen.
Right? What's going to happen when he gets out of the car?
Agent Broder, may I? Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Do you even smoke?
Gave it up a year ago.
Here, let me. No, you
That was
shouldn't.
interesting.
Yeah.
I'm the idiot who. It's yours.
No, I wasn't serious.
I'm not gonna even be around this weekend to enjoy them.
What is happening?
Yeah, did you see that? That was
Yeah.
very. The insert shots.
Yeah.
It's very deliberate.
Delete for NSC code 2.2A indication. Commander Harper.
NSC? The NSC killed my Panama job?
My daughter's having a sleepover. We're talking Nemo.
Whatever you say, sir.
I'm uneasy.
Yeah, something terrible is happening.
So we pulled
What
it
is
off.
that?
Grading on a curve, yes.
But
You can't tell him.
Flowers, the sneezes, the close-ups. Are we talking like a pathogen?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We zoomed in on Charlie's fingers over
Yeah.
the envelope.
my hot water is back on.
Yeah,
It will
something's
be.
happening as far as a
Did you pull
pathogen.
DOD's report on the Pacific Missile Shield?
Yeah.
Holy cow.
So they sense something in the air. They've got something sensing the pathogen. in
Either
the
it
air.
was on the flowers or it was on
No,
the.
it was her sneeze, but yeah.
This is a crash. Put these on, please.
Is this a drill?
No, sir. The environmental hazard monitor is detecting an unusual pattern of airborne particles.
Well, that's what. When I saw the envelope, that's what my mind went to.
Yeah.
Anthrax the envelope, but it's clearly not that.
That was around this time.
Was it? Yeah, I guess so.
Somebody was trying to use it as a weapon of mass destruction and
Sure.
mailing it around to people.
Kate Harper, I'm the new deputy NSA.
You're Commander Harper.
Kate's fine.
Almost out the door.
I need you to stay where you are. We're crashed, gentlemen.
Come again?
The building's on lockdown. I need you to stay put until we know what's up.
Yep, have it out here.
Yeah. These two together, what could go wrong?
I know, right? It's time. They need to get it out in the open.
Yeah, at some point.
Meet my lucky staff, Charlie Young, Deborah Fitterer.
Nice to meet you.
You need to keep on your masks.
Sorry, last time they
Till
let
the
us.
agents confirm the code, we're on standard respiratory precautions. So you're aware of what's coming next?
Oh, yeah.
Does it have anything to do with nasal swabs?
Afraid that's affirmative.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
really
she's not
infected,
doing well.
What are you doing at this hour?
I'm at the clinic one night a week. Midnight, 8 a.m.
You're upset because the VP didn't use any of your jokes.
I'm upset because he didn't use any of anybody's jokes. Because he made the president of the United States look like a buffoon. Like he's squirting seltzer bottles while Pompeii's in flames.
These are serious times.
And only the vice president has figured that out.
According to you, he's the
Yeah.
only one tonight who didn't look like a buffoon.
Excuse me.
You need to close the door.
I'm not staying with this guy. You can...
Yeah. Yeah, this wasn't optional. This is
Yeah.
serious.
Was anything actually sprayed on you at this dinner?
Well, actually, this won't count. She spritzed right into my face.
You saying this aerosol got on you?
What we're talking about?
I'm calling Code Cam. We need to run a decon protocol. Were there chemical indications? Fitterer was sprayed with an unknown agent in proximity to the president.
Ron will put in a good word to your CO.
Mr. President, get a shower.
Yeah. Don't make Ron drag you in there, because he will.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Everything okay up there?
Yeah.
Good.
So what is she taking? I wonder.
You carry him with you?
As needed. It's not a daily dose.
What is it?
I mean, I'm sure it's a Prozac or something. I don't,
Sure.
whatever.
It was just
Something she's allowed to take.
It was just curious how they showed
Yeah.
that, and Leo.
Well, just Leo overreacting.
Sure.
So why'd you kill my Panama joke?
What? Wasn't funny.
You were driving there tonight?
The plan was to hit the road by 11, get there by 1, pitch a tent by starlight, wake up in the green world. I'm afraid our getaway isn't going to work.
The scanner's made a determination. It's positive for concentrations of tularemia. Theoretically, in an aerosolized form, it could be used as a weapon.
Not looking all that theoretical at the moment.
Tularemia is closest to, well, in fact, it is plague.
Oh,
So that would have been very contagious, too.
for sure.
The ventilation system's off, which they do either in the event of a fire or they do in the event of a potential airborne contaminant.
It was found inside a manila envelope addressed to Charlie,
To me.
to your home address.
So someone was trying to get Charlie infected. Yeah.
That speech Russell gave tonight.
I could have given you a heads up.
That's a speech the president should have given. And you should have written it for him.
I don't love you becoming a de facto spokesperson for a load of issues we can't support.
I'm not on a lecture tour. I'm seeing patients.
Now anyone with high school chemistry is a potential threat.
That's a lot of enemies, sir.
Too many.
Josh Lyman needs a smack on the head.
Why?
He sold you a bill of goods. If he was
He
giving
did
you
cause
every
some problems.
opportunity, you'd have grown out of this job 3 years ago.
The White House.
It's not the White House, it's him.
Why did you cancel your camping trip? If we're going to be out of here in a few minutes, you're going home to a rerun of Letterman.
She's not into it. Donna's into Josh still.
You need to get the hell out of there. You're grooming this clown for victory, and then what?
4 more years.
With Howdy Doody at the helm.
This isn't a dictatorship.
No.
There are hundreds of people running this White House. The salient detail being
I'm
they're all
with Toby
Democrats.
on all of this. Are we setting up the fact we're moving into election season soon?
So I don't know if Bob's gonna be the guy though.
Well, episode makes me think he might be in a bad way.
Yeah.
I need to brief the president, and then I'd like to speak to all of you in the mural room. If you run into anyone on the way up, we'd like you to treat this as a false alarm.
Somebody snaps the wrong photo of you with a junkie? Or somebody sees you pop as annex?
I don't care if they do.
It starts as needed. Then you need a little more.
I don't have a problem. But if you think you're going to talk me out of it with some Valley of the Dolls cautionary tale, you have picked the wrong girl.
Hey, I may not be Jack LaLanne.
Go see Ted Mayfield. Get an EKG.
Okay.
I mean it. I'll call and make the appointment
Enough,
myself.
Abby.
I think he should get checked out. I mean, he's probably good.
Yeah, he doesn't have a job that's any easier than the
I
president's.
like how she turned it back on him.
Yeah.
There's a nuclear sub's been grounded for 9 months under repair in Pearl Harbor. It's crossing from the Pacific to the Atlantic right now, through a canal.
Panama.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Donna!
Yeah.
Yeah.
What in the name of all this holy...
Tonight's exercise was a drill.
A drill?
A live drill, meaning the participants were unaware that it was a drill. You were both involved in a top-secret exercise tonight.
Yeah.
And for the time being, it's going to have to remain top-secret.
That would still make for a rough night.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
Get a deck of cards in that room, too.
You're right.
Has the FBI made any progress?
They have a chemist under surveillance who tried to order bacteria from the CDC. Tularemia won't get through again.
Are they sticking with false alarm?
Yeah.
That one's getting a little old.
Was it real? It felt like after the other two were gone, he's talking to the president. He's like, Tularemia won't get through again. Like, did it? I didn't pick up on the subtlety. Let me know, guys. Was there actually an outbreak they just didn't tell people about? Or
My
was it
assumption is that somebody ordered it, but it didn't come to the White House, so they just ran a test just in case. You know what I mean? Maybe that's what's happening. But if it did get through, they would know about it, right? Like, they would want to tell them if it was in Charlie's waste bin.
I don't think they want them to know. They wouldn't want them to know.
All right. Well,
I think it's a top secret thing that they don't want them. They don't have clearance to know.
sure. Yeah, let us know about that, because that was a little confusing at the end.
Right.
Okay. Well,
that was a bottle episode, wasn't it?
I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Very, very tense, appropriately so. We got a lot of revelations about Donna, obviously.
Yeah, I like the fact that we forced some characters in a bottle episode situation to get together and kind of hash out things.
Yes.
Obviously, Donna and CJ, and then Will and Toby.
Yeah.
That really had to kind of really talk about some things that, like, the stuff with Will and Toby has been on my mind all season.
Yeah.
Like, what,
sure.
We've said that early on, right?
Yeah.
What happens if Russell starts doing well and Will starts doing well for Russell, and Will has to realize this isn't the right guy for the job?
Yeah.
Because when Bartlett was we were having the flashbacks when he first ran, when Josh and everybody was kind of getting on board, was first just Toby.
Yeah.
Josh had to realize that Hoynes wasn't the guy that Bartlett was, right? And he jumped ship, and he made that when that epiphany hit him. And took Sam with him.
Sure.
And so what happens now when Will's in the same situation? If he's doing really well, as Toby brought up, to elevate Bob Russell, what happens if he comes to the realization, which I think he will at some point, that Russell's not the right guy for the job, that somebody else is?
Right. And we talked about this earlier today on Gilmore Girls. There's a lot of shows that we watch where people just don't talk to one another.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really glad that we had the opportunity to do that in this episode, right?
Right.
Put Toby and Will in a room together. Put Donna and CJ in a room together. It just makes sense.
Put Leo and the First Lady in a room together and make people kind of hash this stuff out.
Characters that are so close to one another and so similar in their roles there. have them bounce off one another. It's really smart storytelling.
Yeah, this was a really good character episode, and you get all these people together with people that you don't usually see them spending a whole lot of time with, or actively avoiding each other, or with things that need to be said among each other, and then forcing them to like be revelatory in their conversations.
Yeah,
right. We learned a lot about Donna and CJ in this episode.
Yeah,
right. We learned an awful lot about Will and Toby's legitimate concerns. My worry is you're so good at your job, you're going to make this crap guy president.
Yeah,
and then what? When I've been concerned about it in the past, when we were talking about it, there were people who were like, Will didn't really jump ship from Bartlett. He was never that on board with Bartlett. He's a guy that wants to get the party win.
Yeah.
And they're right. That's exactly what this episode showed.
Sure.
He doesn't really care that Bob Russell's not a really quality candidate. He wants to get a Democrat elected so that Democrats can enact Democrat policies.
For sure.
Which I understand. There's got to be a balance of both of those somewhere, right?
It has to.
Can you not win while also finding the right person who should have the job? Can we not have that in the world?
That'd be fantastic.
Right?
And
it may get there.
But that's the question.
Right? The show ending may not be Bob Russell as a president.
That's what I'm wondering.
It would be kind of a dark ending if it wasn't in this context,
And
right?
I just don't think that they would go that route. Because I
Right.
was like, as I said earlier, I'm like, I don't know if this ends Republican. I mean,
it might.
It might. I mean, like, look, if they did it that way, I'm sure it would be optimistic. Because the show,
Right.
the show can be dark, but I don't think its final note is going to be a dark note.
This show has shown us many times that just because they're not on the same political party as the main cast of the show,
they don't really demonize.
That doesn't necessarily mean it's a terrible person, right?
Absolutely.
There are small issues to disagree with, but like I don't think John Goodman's character was a bad guy. I think we've had congressmen on here who stepped in. The lawyer that Donna was dating when they were trying to bury Leo was a right winger.
Matthew Perry was Republican in the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think Ainsley Hayes. Right? Yeah. We've definitely had characters like just because you are not in the same political party as us, that doesn't automatically make you the devil,
100%.
which I like. And so I think the show would get really interesting, actually, now that you mention it, if we ran Bob Russell as the Democratic nominee, a nice enough guy and a party guy for the people who like the show, right? But also the audience might be like, I don't know that I like this guy as the guy. And they ran, the person he was running against was a Republican person who is much more qualified and likable and right for the job. I think that'd be an interesting choice to make.
I do too, and I think we talked about at the opening of the episode. You know what I mean? Like it's so the show is escapism, right? And it's how things should be.
Sure,
that would be a nice way of showing that.
Well, and also you have to remember, like in the last election, presidential election, Bartlett's re-election, we had the unlikable guy,
the idiot, boy crime. I don't know.
Yeah, the Playboy tennis player, Southern governor, who was clearly not up to the task intellectually, and I feel like that's who Bob is. So I don't think you're going to the Democratic version of it, but I don't think you run him against someone else like that. So I think instead of like Richie, is that his name? Richie?
Yeah, Richie.
Instead of having a guy like Richie, where it's like, oh no, that guy can't win. It would be a really cool choice to have someone who could or should.
I agree with you.
I think that'd be a lot of fun.
And look, there's still 2 seasons left, and we have to finish this one, obviously. Right. But I mean, like, if we're setting up for the end,
I like that.
Season 6 might be an election season.
Yeah.
Well,
or season 7 is going to be an election.
Sure. That's the big one, right? But
yeah.
I would not be surprised if midway through season 6 we find out who the guys are going to be.
At least start getting there, right?
For sure.
For those of you who do know, don't spoil it,
please.
I had somebody tried like a season ago to say who the 2 candidates are, and fortunately, he put the actors' names. And fortunately, a friend of mine who kind of screens them said, just stay off the comment section for this one.
Nice.
So I didn't read one comment on the West Wing because
don't do that.
Yeah, because it was like, don't tell me who the actors are. They're gonna let us come to it too.
There's a reason, like when you guys we don't really look at the opening credits.
I don't read them anyway
because we don't want to be surprised.
Yeah,
like the John Goodman revelation was amazing.
It was.
Glenn Close showing up was amazing.
Right. Yeah. I don't like spoilers.
I don't either.
And nobody does. Most people have been really great about it, but that was one that somebody definitely tried to do, and it's been months ago that happened. So it was probably in like season 4, or maybe even the end of 3. I don't remember. But again, I had a friend that was like, just don't. Someone spilled a major season, end of the show revelation on who the candidates are. Just don't even read the comments. And I have seen a couple of small spoilers on the show, nothing that big, thank God. But I usually forget them because it's like,
honestly,
it's like, oh, okay.
Well, you see how we struggle with names,
right? Yeah,
doing so many shows, it's like, who's that again?
Well, and like someone will like spoil something like 4 seasons out that's pretty minor. I'm like, I will definitely not remember this, in a year.
Right.
All right, we'll catch you next one, guys.
See ya.